Hello there everyone. Welcome back to another video. I'm Jay, and today we're going to be working on my John Deere 3520. Just doing a little improvement on the back, actually not the tractor itself, but implement that I made not long ago as a counterbalance for the back because I use my loader quite often. So I'm going to show you that. Now I didn't get a video of this, but this was some scrap tubing that I had left over from a previous job. And what I did is I made me a rack to fit the 3-point hitch of my tractor. And then at the farm we had 4 of these old suitcase weights still hanging around. They're 100 pounds each, so that's 400 pounds. The rack itself weighs about 100, so we got about 500 pounds of ballast. And also too, since I move a lot of trailers and wood splitters, boats, things like that around my shop, I incorporated a receiver hitch into that. But on top of that, I've also made a stand, as you can see, for when I take the implement off, it'll stand up on its own, doesn't get anybody hurt. So what we're going to do today is have something kind of special in tune for you guys. So I'm going to show you how that goes. We're going to make a little storage compartment and carrier that goes on here that's pretty compact. So anyway, stay tuned. I'll walk you through all the steps. Okay, so what I got for a project today on this weight rack on the back of the tractor, my ballast weight, is actually I'm going to be making a carrier that incorporates all of my saw products, gas, oil, chains, wedges, all that kind of thing, plus a gas carrier and safety gear, and also something that will accommodate carrying my saw, actually 2 chainsaws. Just a mobile device that securely stores them as I'm carrying them, because as you guys know, if you have a small tractor, especially a compact tractor, there's not really a lot of good places to haul it. Now there are a lot of things online that you can buy. Okay, we all seen them, we've seen them on other videos, we've seen them on other YouTube channels, and that's fine, and those products are well engineered, well designed, but I kind of like to do things myself. So I'm going to step you through the process of building a saw carrier and also a carry-all basically for my tools. So sit back, relax. We're going to get into this. Okay, first things first, we're going to get a measurement of this bar length here, which I was right, it's a 20-inch bar, but we're going to allow space for adding up to a 24-inch bar. So I'm going to write that down as length 24 inches. The widest point of your bar typically is right in the center, so we're going to get that measurement, which is 4 inches, but we're going to go just a little bigger. We're going to go 5. So our width is 5 inches. And then something else that's very crucial is we're going to measure the thickness of the bar with the chain. Now I know this sounds a little bit crazy, but think about this. You need to have space for that to come in and out of your saw carrier. So we're going to allow a 1/2 inch. So depth is 1/2 inch. So what we're going to do here is we are actually going to draw on this paper the panel that we need. So what I want to do is make a box. So I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this or not, but I'm going to draw a box here. I'm going to show you kind of what the saw carrier is going to look like on paper. So we'll start out with 1 piece of plywood, and then we're going to cut strips that come here that are 1.5 inches wide by 24. We'll have 2 of those, and then this piece will actually be the 5 inches plus 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, which would make it 8 inches. We're going to need 2 of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a box that has a slit, basically, or a space cut in it like so, and then we will have our saw that goes into it from this end in this way, and it holds it to the tractor. Okay, now as you can see, I've got my pieces cut out. All of them are equal length and widths. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to draw me a line right here, the 1.5 inch wide, and here, and mark that on this piece. That way I can put glue down, but I've not got glue all over everything. So I'm going to have glue in the confined area where it needs to be. Okay, so here we go. We're going to mark our edges again. Get ready for the glue, as we're making a second one of these so we can carry 2 chainsaws with us, because I carry a small trimming saw most times and a larger one. This one right here, when I'm cutting wood, seems to be a good combo for me. So we will be doing it that way. Well, I'm still working on my tractor project with my saw carrier, and as luck would have it, and many times this happens when you're trying to plan something out, it didn't quite work out where I was originally wanting to put the saw carrier. The reason is because I got on the tractor and I actually looked around and kind of did a visual of what I was doing, plus the pin for the top link. They were all going to be pretty snug and my visibility was cut down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually change the mounting location of that. Not really a big deal. A little different than what I had originally planned, but that's okay, because sometimes plans just change, you know. It's just the way things go. So I'll show you the new location of where I'm going to be putting that right now. So what I'm going to do is actually mount this outboard here. I'm going to mount it right there on the outside using 2 little metal tabs I'm going to fabricate right now, and we'll kind of walk through that process. So what I'm using right here is some 2 inch by 1/4 inch flat stock steel. I'm going to make my brackets to hold the saw carrier on out of this. Okay, so what I typically do on a situation like this is I actually weld the brackets to whatever I'm working on. But this time I've changed my mind a little bit. I think what I'm going to do this time, I'm actually going to drill and tap this tubing and then drill holes in these brackets that I will be mounting to my saw carrier. That way that, you know, I can always change it around. You know, if it doesn't work out where it is, it's a simple task of taking 4 bolts out. So that's probably what I'm going to work on. So I'm going to drill and tap those after I've made my brackets and drilled my holes in these brackets right here. So here's something that's kind of critical to me. A lot of people skip this step, but honestly, it's worth doing. It adds just a little bit of time to your project. But take your metal that you freshly cut, put it in a vise. You can put it on a table, use a file, use a grinder, anything you want to do. But knock those sharp edges off. I'm telling you, you can get into those things and really hurt yourself, and I've done it before. Let me tell you. So just knock those sharp edges off. Okay, so now we've got our brackets built, and we've got 2 of those right here, and we're going to mount those to our saw carrier. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm holding my bracket up here, and I'm going to be marking the holes where I need to drill and tap. So I'll be doing that next. Okay, so I'm getting ready to drill and tap the holes for the brackets for the saw, and I got my taps out here, and I've got a list here. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to tap it with a 5/16 18, which calls for an L bit. 15/64 is really close, so we can make that work. So I'm going to start drilling that out right now and tap those holes. When you're tapping into steel like this, you got to be very careful, especially when it's a pretty thick metal like a 3/16 or a quarter. You want to back your cutter out every half turn or so to break off the excess where you're cutting threads into this. It'll if you don't, you'll bind up your tap, and then you'll break it off in the hole, and then you've got a really big mess. On tubing, it's not quite as bad, but it can create a heck of a problem for you if you don't do it correctly. You'll know when to back it off because you'll feel the tap start getting really tight. That's the metal binding up in there. So you want to back it up about a half turn or so. You can feel it when it breaks that off in there and cuts it. You can also tell when it gets through the hole. and the entire hole was threaded, it'll start turning like a bolt then, just like this.